to the lead. Here's King Guillermo on the outside trying to pull a huge upset. Jensen is storming home on the outside. Inside the final furlong, do you believe this? King Guillermo at 49-1. He doesn't just win it, he wins it off impressively. Sole Volante from Absolutely Last.
Welcome back to another 2020 Kentucky Derby profile here on the Racing Rundown. I'm Eric DeCoster. In this edition, we will be discussing King Guillermo, probably one of the more interesting horses in this year's Kentucky Derby, purely from just a resume standpoint and connection-wise. A lot of just unorthodox things, from the path to get here, the connections, the rider. It's all very interesting. It's all very fun, though. And we'll get right into it. 2 for 5 lifetime with a second and a third, only one off the board performance. That was in his debut last September. Following that debut, he broke his maiden on the grass with stakes placed on the grass. And then off a 5-month layoff, probably the biggest upset on the Derby trail this year, took out the Tampa Bay Derby by almost 5 lengths. He was 49-1 on that day. Heavily disregarded by just about everybody, as evident by the odds board. And there was really nothing saying he was going to run well. Pedigree-wise, he's a son of Uncle Mo, who was a sire of a Kentucky Derby winner back in 2016. His dam sire, Dixieland Band, has been the dam sire of 2 Kentucky Derby winners, Monarchos back in 2001 and Street Sense in 2007. But the dam herself, all of her runners have been on the grass in Europe. So there was no precedent saying this horse would like the dirt heading into that Tampa Bay Derby, in addition to the fact he was 6th, beating 11 lengths on debut on the dirt. Well, he goes into that Tampa Bay Derby, wide draw and all, hustled up to the lead and all, and pulls off a huge upset, winning impressively, beating a pretty decent group. Really the only strong runner of that group is fellow Derby runner Sole Volante, who beat him actually on the grass last fall in 2019. So beating Sole Volante is very, very nice. That was a horse who was well regarded in the Belmont. But at the end of the day, visually, very impressive. Killer time in that race, very nice speed figure. And then about a 2-month layoff for the Arkansas Derby. Well respected on that day, just a few ticks under 5-1. Behind Nadal, obviously, who without injury probably is your Derby second choice. If if all goes well, but if we were running the Derby in May, he very well could have been your favorite, if not one of the favorites, if he had not gotten injured and retired. But King Guillermo ran a very strong second, beaten 3 lengths. Nobody was going to beat Nadal on the day, but he ran a huge race that day. And that really kind of validated that Tampa Bay Derby performance so much that he was very respected. I think a lot of people viewed him as a good Belmont horse. However, Connections took a very weird route right away after the Arkansas Derby. They came out and said, we're resting this horse until September. At that time, we knew when the Derby was going to be, and they said, we're not going to run him until the Derby. So this horse is coming off of a 4-month layoff into this year's Kentucky Derby. Extremely unorthodox. No horses had more of a 6-week gap between their final prep and the Derby. That was when Animal Kingdom took it a couple years ago. He's one of a couple that have actually done that. But King Guillermo, whole different ballgame, 4 months off. Obviously, there's quite a few horses, a lot more than we normally see in a normal May Derby, of horses coming off of extended breaks. A couple are coming off about a month and a half to 2 months. Some coming straight from the Belmont to the Derby. That's about 2.5 months right there. And then you have King Guillermo, 4 months in between races. I've seen a lot of people concerned about that. Normally, that would concern me. However, this horse's best career race, that Tampa Bay Derby, on all fronts, his best race, that was off a 5-month layoff. So layoffs do not concern me with this horse. He has obviously proven that is not a concern for him. In addition, his trainer, Juan Ciavilla, who I will kind of expand on in a second, his career, 21% with horses off of more than a 3-month layoff in the winner's circle. So while that isn't a gigantic sample size, just over 30 horses, you can't deny 20% in the racing industry. That's a very nice clip to be winning at. And at the end of the day, we know this is a classy horse, back-to-back, extremely impressive efforts. And pedigree-wise, like I said, this is son of Uncle Mo, who started a Kentucky Derby winner, the dam sire, Dixieland Band, 2 Kentucky Derby winners as a dam sire. So mile and a quarter through and through, maybe even longer, if you ever got that opportunity. So this horse is very nice. Obviously, we don't know the true, how good this horse is. We haven't seen the most of him. He hasn't ran in 5 months. Who knows? Has he improved workout wise? He's been working very nicely at Churchill Downs. There's no denying that. Since he shipped in about a month ago, he's going to be at Churchill Downs for about a month training for this race. Shipped in early August. He's posted back-to-back bullets in his most recent works in incredibly quick times. There's no denying this horse is very fit, I might add. He's been working while he hasn't ran. He took a small break after that Arkansas Derby, got back into the gear early July at Gulfstream, then shipped up to Churchill. He's been working phenomenally. I mean, it's hard to deny what this horse has been doing. Connection-wise, obviously a little bit on the lower end, a little under the radar. Juancy Avila, the trainer, nine-time champion trainer in Venezuela before coming to America in 2018, and he's quickly picked it up. He has a couple stakes horses in addition to King Guillermo, a couple on the grass, a couple very nice up-and-coming horses. King Guillermo, obviously the leader of that. Sammy Camacho won the Tampa Bay riding title, I believe, last year in 2019. He was top 3 this year in 2020 at Tampa Bay Downs. So he's very capable, wins a lot of races every year. And the owner, Victor Martinez, former MLB All-Star. Anybody who follows baseball knows the name. Very good at baseball. Retired and invested in some racehorses, and this is one of them, King Guillermo. In addition to obviously the layoff, the unorthodox approach to the Derby, you have some really cool connections behind this horse at the end of the day, and this is a horse working lights out. The biggest concern, in all honesty, is the layoff. I don't think class is an issue. He not only did he run a pretty solid second to Nadal in that Arkansas Derby, he beat some pretty good horses, some very high quality stakes caliber runners in that division of the Arkansas Derby. And that Tampa Bay Derby was so impressive 2 starts back. The layoff, certainly the biggest issue with this horse. If you're a speed figure person, I'm not personally a speed figure person, but if you are, then you probably don't like this horse a whole lot. He is very light on impactful speed figures. But at the end of the day, visually, this is a horse that has been very impressive. Pace setup wise, he's going to be able to probably sit a nice. I mean, this is a horse was on the lead right on it in the Tampa Bay Derby, Arkansas Derby last time out. He was able to sit just a length or two off, not too far back, but he showed a new element in that race. He was able to stalk. This is a horse who normally been on or right near the lead, and then he shows a new element in a very tough Arkansas Derby. Still runs a good second. I think this is a very live shot to hit the board. If Tiz the Law or any of the other top contenders are not on their game that day, King Guillermo is going to run a huge race in this year's Kentucky Derby. I'd be very shocked to see it go any other way. Just based off the works, based off the class, everything's pointing, other than the layoff, everything's pointing in the right direction for this horse to run a big race. So we'll see you on Derby Day. We'll see you next time, too, here on the Racing Rundown for another Kentucky Derby profile.
2 lengths in front at the top of the stretch. King Guillermo moves up outside of Wells Bayou. 3.5 to Farmington Road and Finnick the Fierce and Code Runner. Nadal still has to get a final furlong. He is 1.5 lengths in front of King Guillermo. Finnick the Fierce runs a big one in third. Nadal is 2 lengths in front. King Guillermo and Finnick the Fierce. It is Nadal undefeated and the Arkansas Derby winner.